Dude, you know what it is? It's it's the moment before you get clipped and you're like, "Hey man, is there anything you can do about
Yes.
this?" Like
Yes.
for old time's sake, Jim, nothing I can do about it. Like dude, I was just making sure I wasn't like gonna get whacked. Like I was like, all right, man, like are we cool? Like I'm not wearing a wire. Like, hey man, I know you think I knew them. I'm not an informant. Everything's cool. Like we're good, right? And
Trust this breakfast place in the morning.
yeah.
Jim Brewer.
Jim
Jim
Brewer.
Brewer. Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Hey, this is Jim Brewer. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
What's happening, man?
Good to see you. It's good to be back from California. Your first trip. How'd you like it?
Dude, it was pretty cool, man. I was little we got to Huntington Beach that first day and we went and cruised the beach a little bit and there was like nothing going on. I'm like, this is it. And then once we linked up with Joe and he brought us to the pier and all that stuff, I'm like, all right, here we go. This is it. That was
Yeah, that day. Yeah, once we started going to the pier and we saw the surfers, that was so freaking cool. That I didn't know. What? Oh, it was Huntington Beach, the Huntington Beach
Yeah.
Pier,
Yep.
and then Monterey was another incredible. That whole run, they were incredible place. And people said, "Oh, Bakersfield." Bakersfield was a phenomenal place to be at. It was incredible show. So, with that said, we just got back from California. It's been that was a great run. That was a really great run. It was fun to see you, Mike, and we had some really good times. I got to see an old friend on the road that last day when we were in Laughlin, Nevada.
I got to meet Evan in person.
Oh my God, there's so much to catch up on.
Yeah.
We get to meet Evan up. All right, before we even do that, let's look at tour dates. We can really use some ticket sales in Texas. I think Austin is absolutely crushing. But the rest of the Texas dates, we'd love to do a lot better. So here's the Texas dates coming in January. I can't see it. January 10th, I'll be in Dallas, Texas. January 11th, I'll be in San Antonio. January 12th, Stafford, Texas. Why is there two Stafford, Texas?
There was a separate link for the meet and greet.
Oh, okay. Stafford meet and greet. Got you. January 13th, Austin, Texas. That show's doing extremely well. January 14th, Corpus Christi. And the end of January, I believe I'll be in South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina, and that Jacksonville is canceled. God, I really was excited about that date, but hey, I'm more excited about doing it again with a great promoter and stuff. So, with that said, you got to meet. The fact that you got to meet Evan, and Evan looked like he showed up at Tony Roman's place, Botilicos, the Botila guy, and he looked so dapper. He had his martini, his hair was combed, he looked incredible. He really did. On the trip was me, Joe Sib, and I think we got Joe with us.
We do.
Hello, Joe.
Just want to say real quick, every time you mention the restaurant, all I can hear now in my head is pasta.
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 So much.
Hello, Joe.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you really well.
Good, brother. Yeah.
I forgot we get to see Evan.
Evan was I love seeing Evan drinking a martini.
I did too. I like he was just the way he had so much class. The way he was holding it, just he had so much class. He holds himself really well. It was his night out because he's got, he's like a dad and married. It was pretty awesome.
I love how
It really was.
he's talking statistics. The more alcohol he has, the deeper he goes down the rabbit hole of YouTube. I love it.
Which, by the way, the if you haven't seen it yet, the special Country Boy Will Survive, thanks to you, is absolutely crushing on YouTube. So thank you. And the numbers are growing quicker and quicker and quicker, and now like news outlets are picking up. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I was really impressed by that. People like that. As a matter of fact, when we're on the road, and we'll get to it. A good friend, Larry the Cable Guy, ended up at one of the shows, and I've known him forever. And he was talking about the special, and so it was cool to hear him. Like, oh man, so it's doing very well. So I want to thank everyone that has watched that, and you're having a good time with it. And I'm already working on the next special, which is on this tour that you'll be seeing. So, Joseph,
Yo.
yeah, we had a good run. We stayed at all different Airbnbs. Something tells me we should like rate every Airbnb as we go along. But it's like, do I like?
I don't know. I
don't
feel
know.
like
part of me's.
I feel like the thing that we were learning on these trips: best coffee place, best breakfast place, and best place to stay. I don't know. I almost feel like you could do a traveling show because the places we've been getting are killer. Even that breakfast joint. You remember the place we went to when we left Bakersfield? By the guy that told me, "Hey man, go down." And I thought we were gonna get shot when we walked in.
Joe Sib goes, dude, this guy at the show last night told me, you want a really good breakfast place, this is where you should go. And Joe gives us, do you remember the name of the place?
Pyrenes, I believe.
Pyrenes. Yeah,
Right,
Pyrenes. But I didn't look
Pyrenes,
into it.
like, right. You didn't look at it. You just trusted the guy. Pyrenes, Payree, whatever. So we roll up to this place, Pyrenes. First of all, it's in a district where it looks like it's all industrial and weird. It looks full blown organized crime. However you want to define that. It definitely, and there's a lot of shady individuals in the street. I don't know if they're junkied out or home. I think there was a couple junkies.
Buildings with boarded up windows. Yeah, it was definitely
yes.
It was sketch.
Like, Joe, now we're busting Joe's. Like, Joe, so was this guy legit? You didn't look into us. A guy comes up to you and goes, "Hey, we should definitely eat breakfast." Like, are we being? I really for a second thought we were being set up to get whacked. I'm not even kidding you.
Well, dude,
I was.
At that moment, I started getting worried. Like, man, maybe he's right. I didn't really pay attention to where this guy was sending us. He just gave me this. He's like, "Oh man, if you want killer breakfast, go here. If you want to go to a bar, go here." And then when all of a sudden we're in front of it, I'm like, this doesn't feel good. This is something sketchy.
Well, it was on a corner, and there's no windows.
None.
There's no windows. There's just a door with this tiny little hole, and it said use the other door. And then you go around the corner, and I would say there was just two guys kind of down the street in the middle. You're like, this is. And we didn't even want to open. There was a door. It didn't say the name of the place. Didn't say anything. There was no window, and we just kind of looked at it. I said, well, all right, let me just open the door. Let's see if the door even opens. And we opened, and it was pitch. We're in the sun, and soon it was so dark in there. But then I saw there was booths and tons of people in there.
Christmas tree.
And yeah, we saw the Christmas tree. I'm like, oh, okay. And then we walked in, and it was this huge place. And then we realized, oh, we're okay. And I tell you what, that was a great breakfast.
Yeah.
It was a great breakfast. Lunch at places, Pyrenes. Never would have thought it. From the outside, it looks extremely sketchy and scary. But Yeah, it turned out really good. And then we stayed at that one Airbnb in Monterey
Oh, that one
with the
was
big
killer.
windows at the cul-de-sac and all that jazz. And you were going out,
Oh, I was seeing
Mike. Yeah,
I was gonna.
you were
I was
Yeah.
seeing
seeing
my
an old
friend. Yeah,
friend.
I was seeing my friend and her husband, and oh, dude, what are you talking about? When I had the striped shirt on?
The shirt.
Ah,
Yeah,
dude.
the shirt. Now wait a minute. So
Oh
listen,
God.
one of the things I really enjoy doing is busting on Joe when Joe comes to me and he's wearing this shirt, which is it's fine. I've seen him wear it before. It looks great if you're. It reminds me of something you see on a cruise ship or something like that, and where the guys are that's their attire for Italian night or something, or you're in prison in 1930.
It's a
So
striped shirt, and it's the thing is, I'm not the when I got the shirt, you know, when you get something and you love it, but then you don't know if you can pull it. So I can never find I'm not confident in it because it does look like Alcatraz, Prisoner, like yeah,
100%.
like it looks very, and it's stripes. So I don't know if it makes me look big, and I'm like, I'm just not 100%. And then when I came up, I'm like, what do you guys think? You're like, oh, dude, yeah, you should wear that.
So I go, yeah, no. You look, yeah, it's totally fine.
Good vibe.
Don't even second guess it. So now he goes outside and Joe's waiting for his Uber. And this is where this is where I tell the truth.
All right, Joe asked us if his shirt is cool. I mean,
I'm still thinking about it right
and
there.
I didn't want to.
He
mess
is.
with
He's
him
thinking
'cause
about it
his
hard.
Uber's picking up right now, but his
Look at him.
shirt.
And you have no clue we're talking about your shirt.
I mean, I think all he's missing is a red scarf with that shirt.
Is that what I
It's like
sound like in the morning?
one of those Vegas shows where they ride the boat
Oh,
on the
yeah,
inside
yeah.
around the water.
Yeah.
Right. Or he should be serving pizza.
It is a
Look
very,
at
Or
him.
he's like he's in prison in 1935.
it's very sailor.
One or the other.
Very sailor.
Sailor. It's when I want to be a sailor.
Here comes his Uber.
Now, here he comes. Here he comes. Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, dude, I knew you were busting my balls. So I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. And then when I got in, the guy was like, nice shirt.
Did he really?
No.
No, of course not. Is that what my voice sounds like in the morning?
Pre-coffee.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, that sounded like someone was
I didn't
visiting.
re-
Yeah.
It sounded like someone else in the room. Hey, he's got a deeper voice. And I got a. Wow. I had no clue that's what's going on. What's this next clip, Mike? What's going on there with me and the sunglasses?
I was just queuing it up.
Oh,
yeah, that's the.
Okay. And then the other one was we busted on Joe for. So Joe is on stage, and everyone that comes sees me. Matter of fact, I did an interview today, and they said, we've noticed that you don't swear on stage anymore. And I don't want that to be the main focus, but I don't swear on stage. And I always bring openers that also don't, drop F-bombs and talk about sex or they can talk about sex, just whatever. I like to set a standard. I have zero against that comedy. I used to curse all the time. It really it makes me feel good and it pushes me to work and try a little harder and all that jazz. So I do definitely go for a clean opening act. And Joe has a couple of times he's up there, he's having a good time and he'll let out a little something. But this one particular show, he hit the effer hard. Not once, but twice. Like, bang. And then he started feeling a little. He's like, I'm going to say it again. I know Jim don't watch me, so yeah, bang. But both times I heard the, that sound with the, I went, oh, wow. So I was staring through the curtain, like, is he all right? Is he getting heckled? Like, is there something going down?
Yeah, no, it was a solid
then
F-bomb. It was a solid F-bomb.
Mike brought it up to me too. I think Mike was more. He's like, dude, he like.
Dude, it was the first time that, yeah, it was I don't know what happened. I said it, and then I had another bit at the end where it just came out again. So, and I knew when I walked off, I'm like, damn, those were two hard F-bombs right there. They were out there, and yeah, and they went out.
Yeah, no one cared. Long story short, no one cared. No one leaves going, that Joe Sib should have never, I would enjoy Jim Brewer a lot more if his
Yeah.
opening act didn't drop 2 F-bombs. So with that said, now me and Mike are at the Airbnb, and Mike's editing a bunch of videos, and Mike goes, we start plotting. Mike's like, I can set up a camera in the corner of the room, so when he shows up late at the Airbnb, maybe I can we'll confront him, because here's the thing. I know this is. I don't know if girls do this. Do girls constantly play, bust each other's chops and play practical jokes on one another? Because I will say this, I do it a lot with my openers. I think, Brian McKenna was opening. We were filming something, and we were filming the show. It was during COVID, and it was going to be streaming everywhere. And right before he went on stage, and whenever I feel someone's making it you're putting too much pressure on yourself, or dude, you're overthinking this thing. You're really overthinking this thing. He first asked me, Brian McKenna goes, hey, is this a comedy special? I went, no, it's just another gig. It's just, we're going to stream it. That's all. But I guess it could be used like a special. Yeah, okay. And then I went, is that what you're wearing? That's all I said. Because I knew just saying that was going to send him in this ridiculous spiral. Maybe I shouldn't wear this, and who's watching this, and should I, since it's being filmed, I used to have another guy, Rich Aronovich, who, did he send you the videos, Mike?
Yeah, I gotta go through them. I think for confirmation from you to make sure they're all good to go.
I really want to get those videos. I want you to guys start seeing this. So I used to have Rich Aronovich, and Rich is very neurotic, stereotypical, just very neurotic, right? Always overthinking, and dang, I don't know if I should. What am I doing? And Rich, a couple times, I think I got him at least 2 or 3 times. Oh, I have some good ones where I messed with Rich's head, where I say, listen, at the time I would do Howard Stern, and I'd be like, listen, I'm not sure Howard's going to be here, but I know the crew's going to be here. Like, blah, blah, blah. All these guys are going to be here. And maybe a Netflix just has not, they're not here for you. So don't freak out. I knew that was enough to make him go, oh my God.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
And that's my own. Yeah, exactly. And that's my own self-entertainment. That's the, and then when it's over, he's like, oh my God, my set sucked. And I went, don't worry about it. There was no one coming. Are you serious? Oh man, I hate when you do that. And I did it to him. There was another time where he went over, like, I don't know, 3 minutes. Very particular about time. Like, I want you doing it. So he went over, and I didn't have me say it, but I had Dan. Remember my friend Dan? He's been on the podcast a long time ago. Dan, who keeps an extremely straight face and he can have a menacing face, was going, yeah, Jim was he was pretty pissed about you going over tonight. He goes, this is a private show. He invited you, and he kept saying, I would have never invited him if I knew he was going to go over his time and disrespect the time. This poor bastard was like, oh. So for an hour and 20, he's got to watch me on stage going, oh my God, oh my God. And then, I give him a hug. I'm like, I'm just messing with you. And it still takes Rich Aronovich like a half hour to finally go just to settle down. So I don't know if that's like the street in me that goes, hey, listen, I need to toughen you up a little bit before. So here comes Joe Sib. And we go, okay, I know Joe, who's a huge asset for me, just in my life, friendship and then some.
Thank you.
And Joe, he shows up late, not late to the Airbnb. He was going out. So I had it set up. Mike set up a camera. I went, and it's really hard not to giggle because Joe's so kind and innocent. And I don't like, so there's, we're like, okay, let's see if he falls for this. And at first I had sunglasses. Mike's like, you got to take the sunglasses off. It's not going to work. I went, okay, all right. So I'm going to hit him with the F-bombs. But I wish I did it differently.
You got to
I
remember
kept losing my.
You got to remember
What?
too, I was coming in because remember my buddy's family that I went to college with, like they had their kid there and they were all, so that we went out. So I was coming in just stoked. Like, oh dude, I just hung out with my roommate from college. It was so great. And his wife was there and they brought their kid that goes to school up here and they had a blast. And I hung out at this place. And I remember I got an idea for a movie. I was so fired up when I walked in. And then you just took the Stoke extinguisher all over me. And I knew that the F-bombs were looming out there. Like I thought at this point, I don't know the F-bombs have been heard. I think I'm in the clear. That was the thing. Like I think I got away with it. But my bro Mike made sure I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You came in and you're like, you didn't even say hello. You came in like, dude, oh my God, I got movie idea. And you pitched a whole
movie.
You pitched a whole movie.
Yeah.
Mike, did you edit any of that? I know you didn't do for this part.
Yeah, I have it, but yeah, I didn't edit it for this part. No. I mean, I could play it. I could absolutely play it.
Can you play it just for a second? So first of all, I want everyone to know. Hold on. Before you even play this. So Mike has this hidden camera in the corner of the room of the Airbnb behind the couch in a plant. And you'll see Mike and I keep looking at each other. I don't know if you'll be able to see it right away or how the lighting is. Mike and I were convinced Joe immediately saw the camera because he basically faces the camera and pitches a movie idea. And and I got to be honest with you, I have no clue what you said because I was waiting for the moment to go, hey, can I talk to you about a little something? And I knew the approach with you would be, hey, I don't want you to look into this question. And I already know right there, you're going to be like, oh, okay. All right. Something weird's going on. But here's how hopped up poor Joe Sibs comes from his buddy and he out of the gate is midnight pitching movie ideas. Me and Mike are ready to crash. We're waiting for 40 minutes for him to show up. And this is him. I swear he's looking at the camera. All right. He just came in.
Dude, I came up with the best idea for a. You know how we talk about scenes?
F-bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
F-bomb.
So the son
Off
was
stage.
there, and he was with all his buddies came over, all the dudes he lives with, right? And they're all hanging out, and they're joking around, and I go, one kid goes, hey dude, if you need a place to stay, man, you can stay at our place. And I was like, all right, man, thanks. And I started joking around. I'm like, how funny would it be? Like in the morning, they're like, man, who's that guy? This is the first scene. And he's like,
looking right at the camera.
You know, Matt's dad, that's his friend. And then I wake up and I'm like, you know, they're like, hey, and then like, it's called The Mentor. And I end up just going, I don't have anywhere else. I end up staying with these kids that are in college. And then it's like different scenes where like, guys are, I can't pick my major. And I'm like, and I'm doing things like, I mean, and then like, you know, like, well, you're like,
so this goes on for
God, why do I talk like that, man? every other word's a stutter. I can't even get a full sentence out of my mind.
You're just discovering that?
Yeah.
You don't know you do that?
No, I didn't know that. It sounds like the wire, like when a wire is hitting once in a while in your car and the sound goes through and then it disconnects. That's the ideas in my head going to my mouth. Wow. Yeah, we don't need to show any more of that.
No, what? Yeah, so you're pitching an idea. No, that's you though. Here's the great thing about Joe. Two great things about Joe that I love. Hey, listen, we all got characteristics that we're not happy with. Mine are big bags under my eyes, and apparently I sound like a baritone voice before I have coffee. I couldn't believe that was me in that video. Hey, look at his shirt. Look at Joseph's shirt. He's got his stripes in. I didn't realize that was me. This was, and I'm so glad Mike got to endure this in one of our Airbnbs. Maybe it was the first one. This is what you wake up to in the mornings to Joe Sib. Ready? This is what you hear. And it goes on. His snot box is just
got allergies.
It's a major mess. It's Joe Sib's snot box is a complete disaster in the morning. But I tell you what, it's better than any rooster. Rooster goes, that's when you know it's time to get up. That you go to Key West, get off on the plane, and the first thing you hear in the morning, Joe Sib, this is when I know he's up. When I hear in the distance in his room.
Dude, it's because these Airbnbs, they have some of them let pets in there or something because my allergies fire up. It's the same thing when I'm on a plane. As soon as I get on the plane, just stuffed up. My whole life. I'm stuffed up right now. I can't, when people say you got to do yoga or meditate to breathe through your nose, I haven't breathed through my nose since 82. I cannot, I can't even get I can bear. I don't know. It's always stuffed.
Your poor snot box. It's such a mess.
It's a nightmare.
So then, so between that and it's not that you stutter, but you go, dude, and it's like, and then the guy, and then it's like, okay, wait. So then, okay, so the dude, it's like he comes into the room, and then it's like this guy's here, and it's about 40.
He's excited.
Exactly. That's when I know you're super excited. It takes a long time to get there, but that's when I'm like, oh, Joe is feeling this. That's a good trait. Don't ever feel bad about it.
All right.
I enjoy that trait for you. I enjoy that it takes 20 minutes to get out.
To get a sentence out.
To get a sentence. And you're not like that all the time.
No.
You're only like that when you're nervous or when you're trying to get a specific idea out. Because you don't want to miss out on any details.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's like when it's that's all. That's don't embrace it, Joe.
Embrace the stutter. Yeah.
So Joe, now I'm waiting for the right opportunity, and I think you would start here. I'm gonna set it up. Yeah, look at me. I'm wearing sunglasses at night. I think I'm on a Mission Impossible task.
Okay. We're going to play a game called, we're going to make Joe is definitely, he's showing up late to our Airbnb every night. So I'm going to fake go at him. I'm like, dude, what are you getting cocky now? Like you're hanging out late? You're starting to curse? I'm telling you, he's going to fall for it. Or is that just tonight?
So that's me practicing. I was going to do this. That's me practicing what I'm going to say to him.
You guys.
Oh, now you walk in.
His son goes to school here, and he's like,
Dude, right in
you
there.
guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So we went to the Total College bar.
Now,
That was good. You were funny.
Thank you. Super good, man. You were getting super loose.
I'm setting them up. You were loose tonight.
Yeah, you were good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I like what you said, though.
No. Don't look into this question.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
All right, stop right there. Stop right there. What are you thinking when I did? Were you already? You immediately went, "Uh-oh."
yeah.
Did you have any idea where I was going with it?
I didn't know where you were going with it, but I knew you can tell, like, I know you're going to say something to me.
Which is really funny. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like, dude, if the worst thing in the world is to drop an F-bomb here, drop an F-bomb. If that's the worst thing in the world, dude, we've got the greatest thing going.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, but it just shows the respect you have where I'm not saying I wouldn't have had it, but I would have been like, dude, I know, but you did. The whole reason of doing this is because I know you're so like, oh my God, this is really okay. No, all right, here's what happened. And just, I'm sorry, but that's funny. So he doesn't really know, and I bring it up here. Go ahead.
Don't look into it. You relax.
Yeah.
You hit 2 F-bombers.
I did.
My question is,
Your whole demeanor just changed.
The first one was good.
no, but I'm saying, are you planning to branch out? Like hoping
do
to
this all
that
the time?
more often?
No. It was like,
You sure?
yeah. No, because the first one came out because the first one I liked because it was just funny because it was like, well, what are you guys doing? Fuck up. You know, like whatever. And it was good.
Yeah.
And then the second one was just, it was like cruising around in the head and it just was like, hey, I'm gonna cruise out too. You know, it didn't hit like, yeah.
And I'm trying so hard not to
First time I
laugh
said 2
and at the same time pretend I'm annoyed.
for the 6 years I've been hanging here.
Like we're in a scene of Goodfellas.
Oh God.
Hey, listen, when you got your show, you're doing as much as you want. But I just want to say you were a good sport. I think I eventually just told you, like, I
Yeah.
can't. I'm messing with you, man. I can't.
But here's
But
the
I
other
was-
part. You guys were done talking about it for a while.
Oh
And
yes,
then you can
yes, you're
tell
right.
it was bothering Joe. So he brought it
Yes.
back up to
Did I?
talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. Just because I have to ask you, like, so we're cool. I won't say the F-bombs again. Sorry that it happened. I just need to know that
yeah.
you know that it won't happen again. I have to say, like, it won't happen again.
Yeah,
I
feel
felt-
weird and stuff.
No, I don't feel weird, but I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know. You know, that's not something that's not part of my like future plan.
No, but it can be.
Yeah, but
When you do it, you know what I mean?
no, I know that. But what I'm saying is when we're hanging, you know, like, in this in our band.
Right.
And I felt
Bass.
Yeah. So, okay,
I-
good.
at this moment, I felt.
Well, dude, at that
I was
moment,
like,
I'll tell you what's going. Dude, I'll tell you what it is, dude. Dude, you know what it is? It's the moment before you get clipped, and you're like, hey, man, is there anything you can do
Yes!
about this? You know, like
Yes.
for old time's sake, Jim, nothing I can do about it. You know, like, dude, I was just making sure I wasn't like gonna get whacked. You know, like I was like, all right, man, like, are we cool? Like, I'm not wearing a wire. Like, hey, man, I know you think I knew them. I'm not an informant. Everything's cool. Like, we're good, right? And
Trust this breakfast place in the morning.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
gonna work out.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, once you came back and like, hey, I just want you to know that I never got. I was like, I don't know if I can keep this up. I don't know.
I would have loved.
Keep this
Okay,
up.
wait, Brewer. Okay, I got to ask you a question.
What?
Flip flop it, flip flop it for a second. You're out on the road. Back in the day, you're featuring for so and so. You're playing. You know, you're in it. You're like, all right, man, this is amazing. And they do that to you. Hey, man, you know, I know that. Would you have been like the same way as me, or would there be a point?
Oh
where
no, I 100%. I would have been like, yeah, that was a total mistake.
Yeah,
and it's
okay,
my
cool.
fault. And like, I don't know why I did it
Yeah.
again. Like, I I would have been extremely apologetic,
Yeah.
and extremely like, listen, ain't never gonna. I don't know why. I think I was. I think I got a little. I got a little excited. I don't know what happened, man. I didn't. I would never. I know you don't like that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Got it.
That happened. That
Ain't gonna go
happened with
down
Joe and
again.
I the first night
What do you mean?
at the
What do you
improv.
mean, Mike?
The end of the night, Joe, you're done. I'm going to get the microphones and clean everything up, my camera and stuff. And Joe's like, you got the mics? And I'm like, dude, I gave them to you. He's like, no, you
Oh,
didn't. I'm like, dude, I got off stage, I got everything together, and I gave them to you. He's like, dude, don't mess with me right now. I'm dealing with the money. I'm trying to settle. I'm trying to get the merch together. I'm sorry, dude. My apologies. Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
I
done that.
remember that. I remember that. I go, hey, dude, are you messing with me right now? Because I'm trying to settle. I'm trying to clear music. And you were like, dude, I'm totally joking. I'm like, all right, sorry.
well, even that, which I noticed too. Like Mike is all quiet here. I noticed on the road he likes busting chops a little. Like I'm not gonna lie, when he's like, yeah, I was busting Joe's chops and I was trying to mess with the microphone. Like, and how did Joe react to that? Because you know what I mean? Like if we went Godfather, it's like the Godfather and the consigliere. Like, dude, you're messing with a consigliere. Be careful there. Be careful. He comes to me, and then he's like, I like this mic, but now he's messing with me while I'm working. Like, things are going down. But overall, man, we had a great time.
Dude, it
We
was the
really did.
best.
I thought it was phenomenal.
Hey Jim, my name is Stepan. I live in America now, but I'm from Russia. I just want to say from Russia with love. I just went to see you in Albany, New York at the Egg. That was an incredible, funny show. Thank you for everything you do. Keep following Jesus. God bless your family and everything you do. Stay strong. Take care, brother.
We covered a lot of ground too, man. I got to say one thing that no one knows, Breuer does all the driving. He will not let any of us drive. I've asked a million times. He was driving 5-6 hours a day. Boom, straight in. We covered a lot of ground in California, man. It was beautiful too.
That one day was like 6 hours.
Yeah.
We left super early in the morning to go to Monterey, but
Yeah. We played
I
a lot
like
of
it.
music.
I like
Played a lot of music.
Played a lot of music. A lot of music. And then we ended it in Laughlin, Nevada. And I remember seeing a billboard for Larry the Cable Guy. So we go on, it's the last show. I go on, do my thing, and when I came off the stage, Joe's waiting for me. And he goes, hey, what'd you say? Your buddy's Dan is in
No,
there?
I go, dude, you're stoked. Your buddy Dan's here.
I said, Dan who?
Yeah.
And you went, you'll see. What are you talking about? And I walked in, and it was Larry the Cable Guy, who I know as Dan Whitney. So, and he told the greatest story about Greg Giraldo. Because I brought up when I watched Larry the Cable Guy, there was a roast on Comedy Central, and I'm not a big fan of the roast. I like the old time roast where they did more jokes. Where this one, the newer roasts were very vicious, like really mean, vicious, and that's whatever. It's not my style. I got asked to do a couple. I'm like, it's not my style, man. So he was, and I mentioned when I watched it, I knew the typical jokes that they would go after him with, but he also, Larry the Cable Guy is a really good writer. You may just think, because he does this, he's got the Southern accent and he dresses like who he dresses like that. He's not the brightest character. He's actually extremely smart, brilliant, funny, incredible human being. And I brought that up to him, and he said that Giraldo, who was absolutely hilarious, brilliant, and he probably was the best roaster, I think, ever. He said, he said some things and he was pretty harsh on me and blah, blah, blah. But then he told this story after the show that was very heartful of Greg Giraldo going up to him after the show and go, "Hey man," and it was basically to the story that Giraldo went up to him and said, "Listen, I don't mean those. I didn't mean those things." I said, I'm actually angry at myself for not being further. And I really admire what you do. And I do think you're extremely funny. And I'm really sorry if I hurt you in any way, but I don't mean those things. And I'm not very happy with, and I'm angry at where I'm at. And that certain people do better than me and all that. It was just it was a very nice thing to do by Giraldo. I had a great time at Giraldo at a wedding of all places. I think it was for a friend of ours, and we hung out all night. We were laughing our asses off. We were taking goofy pictures everywhere, and I was very sad when Giraldo passed. It's sad when anyone passed, but that was an incredible story by Larry the Cable. There was a couple stories I told him that fun, not fun for me. Got my ass handed to me, but everyone was talking about that gig. Oh my God, Larry the Cable Guy absolutely murdered in front of 10,000 people, just murdered. And I kept now when I left Palm Harbor, Clearwater, Florida to go to New York to try to get on television, do films. This is 1990, 91, 90, somewhere in there. I knew Dan Whitney as Dan Whitney, the freight train of comedy. He'd get up, joke, 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 just pound you to death with jokes. And one after the other, one after the other. So the last time we spent together was all of us were at a table. It was me, him, Daryl Hammond, Tom Rhodes, I think Carrot Top, Billy Gardell, all guys that are on television and film and have gone on to do great things. And I had no clue who Larry the Cable Guy was. I had no clue that Dan had turned into Larry the Cable Guy. So I'm at this big event and I'm like, who is this Larry the Cable Guy? So I go and I'm looking at the list and I see Larry the Cable Guy in there. I'm like, huh. And out of nowhere, Dan Whitney comes out of a room and I went, Dan, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. Like, how are you? He goes, oh, God. I said, what are you doing here? He goes, I went up earlier. I went, I don't see your name on the list. And he goes, I'm Larry the Cable Guy. I went, what? What? You're Larry the Cable Guy? Oh my God. And I'd let him know how excited I was. Like, just whenever the good guys really cry, I was super excited. And we have all that. Mike came in and recorded everything. You guys were Mike was like, oh my God. It was cool to see Mike extremely jacked up. You knew that was Larry the Cable Guy, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, the minute me and Joe were at the merge table, just checking things out, and all of a sudden he walks in with his entourage, and Joe and I just look at each other like, dude, it's Larry the Cable Guy. We're like, all right, we got to get him backstage. Yeah, it was
And
awesome.
what did he say to you, Joe? Did he talk to you guys up front?
No, when he rolled in, his opener cruised over and was, introduced himself. So like I was like, hey, what's up, man? I psyched you guys are here. And he's like, hey, can we come back and say hi to Jim after he gets off? I said, absolutely. And then, right when I knew you were closing it down, I walked him back in there and then I walked out on stage and grabbed you. But after you went out to do the meet and greet, he hung for another like 10 minutes. And, he was talking about, different shows, talking about where he lives, and how, what he's got planned for next year. That was their last show of the tour. So they were winding down, as we are too, with, the last show in Philly next or 2 weeks from now. So, it was just cool. And he was very like, for a guy at his, who he is, he was so humble and cool and very giving cause I asked him a few questions, kind of like how the whole Larry Cable Guy came about. I said, Jim had told me some things, and, he told me about how it came about, how it was a radio show character, and
Right.
he would always
Right.
go up generally as Dan, freight train of comedy. And then at one point, is it Les? What's the guy that owns the club down there? And is it Sarasota?
Les McCurdy, Sarasota, one of the most respected guys in the area. Some other people like to say I shouldn't say that. Only one person.
So then Les,
I've
he
ever
told
met.
the story.
Only one person in my lifetime ever said like, oh, that guy's not. Les McCurdy runs McCurdy's Comedy Theater Club in Sarasota. I love going there. His wife's incredible. It's yes, Les McCurdy, incredible human being, and I love performing at his place. Great guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then he was telling about how there was a show and everyone was on it. And that night, instead of putting Dan's name on the billing, he put Larry the Cable Guy. And when Dan showed up to do the show, he walked into the venue and it was packed. And he says to Les, he goes, why are all these people here? What's going on? He's expecting like anyone else. Oh, I'm coming up to do a set. Shouldn't look like
Yeah.
this. It looks like a Saturday night. It's a weeknight. And he goes, they're all here to see Larry. They're all here to see you, Larry the Cable Guy. And he goes, Les, I don't have an act based on Larry the Cable Guy. He goes, well, can't you you could do some bits as that guy, right? So he's like, all right, I'll do it. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go out and I'm going to wear what I wore here. So he puts his jeans on, his boots and his, shirt and his hat. And he came up and did Larry the Cable Guy, like did some bits as that, and it crushed. And then Les said to Dan, hey, I really think the Larry the Cable Guy thing is your ticket. He goes, now, why don't you come back and we won't bill it we'll only bill it as Larry the Cable Guy. And he said he came back and it was sold out.
Wow.
And that
I
was
didn't
it.
know Les McCurdy had such a big part to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
That makes so much
According
sense.
to Dan, if it wasn't for Les saying, hey, tonight go up as Larry the Cable Guy. The reason these people are here is I put, Dan, is it Whitney? What's his last name?
Dan Whitney. Yeah.
Said
yeah.
Dan Whitney, and then in quotations, Larry the Cable Guy. So at that point, it was still Dan, Larry the Cable Guy. And then it did so well that he said, let's get rid of Dan and we're going to bill you as Larry the Cable Guy. And from that point on, he said there was no looking back. It just took off like fire.
That's awesome. And I love stories like that.
And to hear that from him was amazing. Yeah. As a comic, sitting there listening to the two of you guys go back and forth with who's at that table. I mean, dude, hearing, both of you guys writing different bits, trying to punch each other's stuff up. It's all the stuff as a comic that, me and my friends do, but we're just not Jim Breuer and Larry the Cable Guy and, all of that. We're just we're at that level of, you guys at the restaurant that night.
Yeah, it was so cool. It really reminded me of when I was first starting out, who you really enjoyed. And I remember I loved Billy Gardell. Still enjoy Billy. I still get great. It's like seeing an old family member when I see Billy Gardell or Dan Whitney, Larry the Cable Guy, Tom Rhodes, because he was around, Daryl Hammond. And over this past week too, I had a great phone call from an old friend, Tracy Morgan, who I haven't spoken to in a long time. We had a great conversation. And I told him, man, I love you and I miss you. And you helped me more in my life than you could ever imagine. Not forget what we did career wise, our life. Tracy Morgan was an incredible mentor spiritually for me, believe it or not, always was. And I'm glad we got to catch up and do all that, but it was a great trip. I guess we'll see each other in Philadelphia, right? That's
Philly on the 22nd. Yeah. Friday, the 22nd.
We're in, we're out,
Literally.
last show of the year. And then our tour kicks up. You could see me, most likely Mike, Joe, all out there on the road. And, get your tickets now. Go to jimbrewer.com for that Texas run. And I'm thinking about bringing the Herbinator.
Yes.
I'm thinking about bringing Herb. I'm gonna ask if Herb can come along. I think Herb would have a great time out on the road with us, and then that whole Carolina run too would be Atlanta and the Carolinas. That would be good too.
I'm excited too. Really quick,
Yeah.
when we go to Austin, Jim, to show you that 40 or 50 acre wild reserve that my friends own out there. Remember I showed you Dino and Sarah.
Yes.
They have this whole, basically they've built this whole compound out there that's all, they have their beehives, they have all the, they make their own bread out there. They got their own honey out there, the kombucha. I mean, and he's built everything, and he built it's an amazing, I showed you the photos. So yeah, I'm hoping that we get out of the city to check that out while we're there.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to connect, with some people out there. We'll see how that goes. If time permits, see who I would love to go see out there. So with that said, the new specials out there. Country Boy Will Survive. Joe Sid, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you in 2-3 weeks. Mike, thank you for all you do. And for everyone else out there, hey man, enjoy life where you can. We're in December. If there's anyone in your life that is trying to bring you down, just don't let that control you. Don't let it eat you up. You're too good for that. You're way too good for that. I've also noticed in life, we had a couple conversations about this all the way. You ever notice in life, people that constantly point fingers, like, did this and they're that way and this one's bad and da da da, and they're at the same time they're saying how great they are. I'm great, you're this and they're that, and you better not this. If you have people like that in your life, it's very toxic. You got to get that out of your life, and don't ever let them infiltrate you, because the good always outshines the bad. Always let the light come out, and if the light isn't coming out of the human being that you're crossing paths with, well, then they're not meant to be around in your life. You're too valuable for that. All the best to all of you, and we'll see you next week on the Breuniverse. Have a good one. If you'd like to check out this episode uncut and uncensored, head on over to my Patreon page at jimbreuer.com/Patreon. Hey, this is Jim Breuer, and I got my own Patreon page, and hopefully you'll check it out. Live comedy concert streamed once a month. Early access to the Breuniverse podcast every single week, and have bonus footage and bonus segments. I promise you I'm not going to let you down. Go check out my official Jim Breuer Patreon page, and I'll see you there.